Hey, what's going on? It's Rick here, and this is my iPad mini with Retina display, and I'm going to show you what's on it here. A lot of people ask me to do these what's on my iPhone, what's on my iPad videos, and for those of you who maybe caught my last what's on my iPad Air video, thanks for watching that. I do keep different things on my iOS devices because I use them for different things. So my iPhone is usually with me 24/7. My iPad mini I usually will use when I'm going to coffee shop, when I'm on the road, when I'm traveling, whatever. And my iPad Air, for the most part, stays at home. So that's why they all have different things. This first page here is pretty much standard. I'm not going to walk through this, and I'm not going to open up each app as I show them to you, because then this video would take forever. But some people have said, hey, could you do a future video on, this app that you talked about? Let me know if that's what you want to see, because if you guys do want me to start doing app review videos or just app overview videos, I'm happy to do it. So let me know your thoughts on that. Best way is hit me up on Twitter at Metagamers. You can leave a comment down below too, but definitely the way, in my opinion, the best way is through Twitter. So here's the first page, pretty much all standard. I mean, most of this stuff you're going to get out of the box when you purchase an iPad. The only thing I've really changed here is I downloaded the YouTube app, and so that sits right here. And so far as music, I really don't store music on my iPads. I store my music on my iPhone. And so that's where that's going to live. And then as far as videos go, that's the only other thing. Most of this stuff is synced in the cloud, so if I want to play it, I'll stream it, with the exception of probably Frozen here, which I downloaded. All of this other stuff, I mean, you can see mostly animation, mostly Disney flicks. Zombieland's thrown in there for good measure. Big Tim Burton fan. That's kind of the movies here. Second page is pretty much where it's at. Oh, and by the way, down below, it's really not changed. Music, Safari, Mail, and Messages. Here, this is what we're talking about in the games area. I've got Costume Quest, which is made by Double Fine. Most of these games, actually a lot of them, I don't really play on a daily basis, but I keep them here because this iPad is 128 gigs with cellular, and I don't have to worry about storage all that much. So with that being said, I would prefer to have more things on my iPad than not enough, and then be on the road with, let's say, a slow connection or activating cellular and having to worry about data transfer rates and things like that. So I'm more comfortable having more stuff on here than not enough and having to download it on the road. So that's why I've got it this way. Costume Quest, Double Fine game. I understand they're making a Costume Quest 2, which should be pretty cool. This is kind of a mix of an RPG, light RPG with some action adventure elements to it. All takes place in kind of this Halloween themed area. You go trick-or-treating and doing stuff like that. I like that game quite a bit. And I'm a big Double Fine fan. Minecraft, Pocket Edition, and Terraria, those are on all of my devices. Great games, love playing them, and therefore they live on my devices. Infinity Blade 3, Candy Crush, and Bad Piggies. Haven't touched them in a while, but there they are. Angry Birds Star Wars, Plants vs. Zombies 2, and Eden. Eden is kind of like a, I guess you could liken it to a Minecraft game. It's definitely a sandbox game, and it's fun. From a pinball perspective, if you're a pinball fan and if you're a Star Wars fan, that's, my choice right here. It's the Star Wars Pinball app, or the Star Wars Pinball game. I think it comes with one free table, and then you would have to buy the rest. I bought 2 tables so far. I think there's like 6 more that you can buy. And it just looks really good, and it plays very well. And so when I want a pinball fix, that's the one that I'm playing. Little Inferno, I've got this on my Air as well, but it's a lot of fun. It's kind of this unique game where you have to burn things. And I know it sounds weird. You just have to check it out. But you basically, the idea is you have to mix combinations of items to unlock the next level. And stuff. So makes no sense explaining it. You'd have to see it, and maybe I'll do a video on that in the future. Final Fantasy IV, Wild Blood, which is a kind of a action adventure game. The World Ends With You, which is again a game that had appeared on, I believe it was the DS. Lily, which is another adventure game, very graphically polished. Bastion was a game that I saw on the Xbox 360, and I liked it quite a bit there. Played it a lot on the Xbox 360, and so I actually got it for my iPad Air and my iPad Mini. And I tell you, if you want a game to showcase what the iPad can do when you compare it to some of these games that appear on the Xbox 360, that's one of them, because it really looks and plays very, very well. Of course, it's not going to stand up necessarily to a console such as an Xbox One, but you get the idea. Pizza vs. Skeletons, the Scramblies HD, which is kind of like Coin Drop, if you're familiar with that game. And they removed this game from the App Store. I don't know why. So I've only got it because I had downloaded it, and it kind of sits in my backup drive. Lost Winds and Lost Winds 2, those were free for a period of time, and that's how I got them. Adventure games. Look really, really nice. Chaos Rings 2 is a RPG. Dark Meadow, that's a first-person adventure, dare I say, survival horror type of game. In ways, it kind of reminds me certain elements of Silent Hill, but different in its own right. So that's what that is. Peggle HD, I've always been a fan of that game since it made its appearance on the Xbox. And so I've got it here. Coin Drop, as I mentioned. Oceanhorn is another adventure game that many have compared it to The Legend of Zelda, and said there a lot of comparisons and conclusions can be kind of tied together. Very nice game. If you like Candy Crush, you should check out Frozen Freefall. This is a very good game. It is free. It's a lot of fun. I prefer it over Candy Crush. And it's worth a shot. Junk Jack X, and I haven't really spent a whole lot of time, so I can't speak too much about that. But, you know, another fun kind of building game, I believe. This is my Game Boy emulator, Game Boy Advance emulator, as I mentioned before in my other video, and Cookie Jam, which is a new app or a new game that I just downloaded, which is very similar to your Candy Crush or Frozen Freefall. On the social side, I've got Tweetbot for my Twitter client, which, by the way, what do you guys use as a Twitter client on your iOS devices? I always use Tweetbot. I'm going to try the official Twitter app soon because I know they've made some updates to it. I have no issue with Tweetbot, but it's been kind of my go-to client forever. So I'm curious to see what you guys use and if there's something better out there. Facebook and Skype. I don't use Skype all that much on here, but I've got it for the times that I need it. Under the entertainment area, I've got HBO Go and DirecTV. I use DirecTV as my TV provider, and I've got HBO, so I've got the HBO Go app to watch my shows on the go or to watch them when the TVs are tied up and I just want to watch this, you know, on my iPad. Pokemon TV, which allows me to see Pokemon episodes on the go or just on my iPad as well. Xbox One Smart Glass. So I've downloaded it, but quite frankly, I'll be honest, I've never used it. Utilities. So I've got my Amazon app for shopping if I don't want to use Safari to do my shopping. I've got my Find My iPhone app. I've got the Philips Hue app because I do have a lot of Philips Hue bulbs in my home, which, by the way, the very first one I think went out on me. It doesn't change colors anymore. So I'm going to have to see about replacing that. But I've got a lot of Philips Hue lights in the home, and so this controls them, setting timers, setting light patterns, colors, things like that. I also have a Friends of Hue Bloom light, which is kind of a colored accent light. Generates a much broader spectrum and much richer, deeper color spectrum than the standard Philips Hue lights. And that sits behind my TV. And it projects behind it onto the blackout curtains I've got behind the TV, and it creates a very nice theater effect so that when you're watching television at night in the dark, your eyes don't strain so much. You've got the ability to project some light behind the TV. The Apple App Store app, which I keep that there because as I've mentioned as a tip before, anytime Apple releases a new product, a big important product, let's say an iPad release, an iPhone release, we all know the story. The App Store goes down, it stays down for a matter of hours, and then let's say they say, we're going to open up pre-orders at midnight. What I've found to be true for at least the last, who knows how many, it's been occurring for quite some time, the last few releases, is that if you use the Apple App Store app to do your pre-order, you can actually get in and do that anywhere between 30 seconds to a minute before the web store opens up. So there's your tip, Apple App Store. My airport utility, I've got an Airport Extreme and an Airport Express in the house. And so this is used to just kind of do the sort of things I need to do on my routers. WWE apps, so I can watch my pay-per-views as well as programming. Probably the game that I'm most addicted to as of late, and hopefully I don't mispronounce this. Hearthstone, I don't know. It's by Blizzard. It's kind of spin-off World of Warcraft card game. And generally speaking, I always have a hard time getting into card games, learning them, learning the ropes, learning the rules. That's not the situation with this game. It is very easy to get into and very easy to understand. But a lot of skill is involved and a lot of thinking is involved as you will be playing it online against real people. But the way that they've kind of implemented it is very, very smart. You don't have to worry about, people slamming you and saying stupid stuff and things like that. It's all kind of pre-configured, almost like emoticons, but things like that. So it's just really well done. That's all I'll say. Which brings me to my next point. A lot of you guys have said, hey, can you do a video where you do app reviews and stuff like that? You know what? If you want to see it, let me know what apps you want me to review or overview. I'd be more than happy to do that. And finally, Wayward Souls. This is a new game that I just picked up, and I'm still trying it out. Kind of 8-bit graphics, Nintendo NES style adventure game, sort of like Gauntlet. So that's going to do it. That's what's on my iPad mini with Retina. As always, feel free to reach out on Twitter @Metagamers or leave a comment down below, and I'll catch you next time. Take care, everybody, and have fun.